Salaki, Shalom, it's Brother Kashakala coming back at you with another lesson, giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Achapadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace and salutation to the 1144 first fruit. All right, so pretty much this lesson is going to be swift, quick, to the point, and it's speaking about how you need to study the ancient to understand how to move today. All right, you need to study the ancient to understand how to move today. You have to consider the ways and understand the ways, what they did, why they did things. So with that being said, it's pivotal that you read about our forefathers. You read about the history that is portrayed. When you read the Samuels, the Kings, the Chronicles, Ezra, first and second book of Ezra's, Nehemiah, things all of that nature. You need to read those things to understand how our forefathers moved, how, certain kings moved, and things of that nature. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. A Psalm of Asaph and Psalm 77. I'm going to jump down to verse 5. It says, I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. Right. I have considered the days of old, meaning, I looked upon, I've had matter of fact, get that word consideration, just an easy Google search of consider. It says, think carefully about, typically before making a decision. Right. We think carefully about, in order to think carefully about ancient times or old, you have to know about it, which comes by form of reading about it, studying about it. So to consider it, you actually have to think carefully about the moves that our forefathers made. When we read and, about our ancient forefathers, I'm going to say it, they made moves that weren't that great. And then they made considerably noticeable moves that they should have made. But either way, it was a learning lesson, and it's something that we learn from. There are plenty of situations in our lives that men in the scripts have already went through. It says, I have considered the days of old, the years of the ancient times. Right. So you whenever they're, prime example, when you look into when, monarchies and things were set up, kings were always well versed and well studied, especially on previous past kings, to see what to do and what not to do. Some kings took heed to it, some kings didn't, but they always studied the years of the ancient. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus Chapter 39 and 1. I know Akim loved this verse because it's a great verse. It's a classic one too. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof. All right. Yeah. Occupied in the meditation thereof, meaning it's consistently on your mind. Again, this word right here, consider. You're always thinking carefully about it. Salakia. I don't know why it's doing that. That's off. But let's go to Psalm chapter 1 real quick. Psalm 1 and I'll start at 1. It says, blessed the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. So it's the same thing here. And you're occupied in the meditation thereof, the meditation of what the Lord has commanded you to do. And also you're occupied in the meditation of our forefathers and their actions and their movements. So continuing, he says, we'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. Right. You'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. Now, let's say this too. That applies to our time as well. There are men, who's been labeled. Well, me for speaking, for myself, because I'm a younger brother in the truth, only been in the truth 7 years. There's men who've been doing this for longer than I've been alive. There's men, who I'm under in my specific camp, who's been doing it half as long as I've been alive. You know what I'm saying? 12, 14, 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to seek out the wisdom of those men as well. What they went through, the toilage in this truth and things of that nature. This is one thing whenever I meet meet a brother that I haven't met before. One thing, if I do get the chance to ask, I'll ask him, how did you come to know the truth? I want to know that walk, because it tells a lot about the man, that you're talking to, but that's seeking out the wisdom of what they went through. So where were you when you got the truth? Or how did you get the truth? What did you do? Because in that story, you hear their sacrifices, the things they had to do, you know what I'm saying? The things they had to go through, and that gives you an indication of how and why they're built the way they're built to this very day. So that's another good way to seek out all the wisdom of the men today who's been toiling and laboring in this thing for a great amount of years, in our eyes, but also actually reading about these men in the scripts and understand what they went through was for our learning. That's what the scriptures say, things were written aforetime for our learning. Men went through things aforetime for our learning today. All right, and call Allah Yahweh Shani Shai, they are written down so we can read these things. All right, it says, and be occupied in prophecies. All right, so let's go to Psalm 119 and 100. I'll start at 99. It says, I have more understanding than all my teachers. Right, we kind of use these, well, me personally, I'll use these type of precepts for like the book of Revelation and John the Revelator explaining something in a sense that we understand what he's talking about now. We understand when he's talking about what he was seeing during that time. You got to remember, he was seeing missiles and all that stuff during the time of 96 AD. You think he knows how to explain what a missile is and what an airplane is? The best way you can describe it is was with the knowledge that was then. But of course, we have more understanding now than we had then. Therefore, we can break those things down and understand what they're saying. It says, I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation. That's good right there. All right, testimonies are things that you witnessed. All right, things that you've been through, man, your experiences. All right. So we understand their testimonies and we understand what they went through. Therefore, we can meditate on those things. But you got to read it. Verse 100 says, I understand more than the ancients because I keep thy precepts. Now, when you go into that word precepts, it means a commandment. So the word, the precept is a commandment. Okay. Because I kept the commandments of the Lord, he's opened up my mind to understanding the things that these men went through. That's why a lot of people pick up this book and read about these men, but they don't understand the gravity and, how deep the message was of what they were going through, because they don't keep the precepts. You see, they don't keep the commandments of the Lord. So therefore the Lord shuts their mind off from the understanding, it shuts their mind off from the understanding. But we have the Spirit to give us that understanding. Therefore, we understand the ways that are ancient and what to do and what not to do. I know as Brother Shabak in my camp, we were talking about Paul this past Saturday. We was watching the Devin Haney fight, and we was like, man, Paul, in 1 Corinthians 7, 1 Corinthians 11, he was putting us on game about women. Oh, this is 2,000 years ago. And it's still on point to this very day because we understand. We get it, and he was putting us on game and things were clicking to us today that don't click with a lot of Jake today, That's why they get caught up with these women and things of that nature, But because we understand more and more, and we understand what our forefathers were speaking about and what they were going through, So it's pivotal to go back and read about our forefathers to understand the things they were going through, what they were saying to us, really, what they were saying to us. That's why it's good to go into the proverbial based, wisdom based books like Proverbs. You could say Psalms, Ecclesiasticus, Wisdom of Solomon, things of that nature. Ecclesiastes, to understand how to move in this life, and read about it. Read, and study about it. So, like I said, this lesson wasn't going to be too long. I wanted to make it quick and to the point to understand your the ancient, okay, and understand what they went through and apply it to your life today. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace or salutation to the elect 144 first fruit. Brother Kasha Kwal, until the next time. Shalom.